the price of your really good. So good, you gotta try it. With Straight Talk, you can get our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month. Now with unlimited high-speed data, plus 5 gigabytes hotspot data, and no contract, with nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot for your data when you can get unlimited for a whole lot less? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Let's get to work, South Jersey. Today, commuting challenges aren't just an inconvenience. They affect quality of life, independence, and mobility. Cross-County Connection, the Region Transportation Management Association, is dedicated to improving the quality of life in South Jersey through transportation solutions. www.driveless.com is your key to mobility, providing public transportation resources, commute planning, and employer programs. Let Cross-County Connection help you get there. 856-596-8228. Funded by the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority and the Federal Highway Administration, which assume no liability for its contents.
South Jersey's home for the Sixers and Flyers.
Yeah!
He scored!
A two-hand jam!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station.
The following program is paid for, and the opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Philly. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing up there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin today on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. It's a Sunday morning. The sun's shining. The PT's in the house, and Mike Carlin's here. What's up, Pete?
PW Power, baby. Yes, sir.
The White Marsh guys are ganging up on a Schweiner.
You know, Mike, I don't know that you know this, but our school made the Kobe Bryant book.
No kidding.
Yeah, the one that Mike Sealski wrote, The Rise of Kobe Bryant. That
For one
book,
of the games?
that outstanding book that's out there right now. We're in it because when Kobe was a freshman, Lower Merion lost to Plymouth White Marsh in like the districts or something like that. And that was like the humiliating defeat that, fueled. The whole book is basically about Kobe's rise to, being the awkward teenager who was, basically had taken school in Italy and nobody knew who this kid was. And then all of a sudden he's, how he transformed into who he became.
Jelly Bean.
When we have time, I got about a 2-minute story that will blow you guys away about Kobe.
Yeah, I'd like definitely to hear it. We got a big show lined up today, man.
Are you talking into the mic? Why do you sound like you're 8 miles
I don't know,
away?
and I can hardly hear in my
there you go.
Headphones.
You see that yellow thing right in front of your mouth?
It's right. Look, I can't. What do you want me to do? Eat it, Pete?
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
You want me to eat that thing, Pete? Don't start with me today, Pete. I'm not in the mood.
Oh, great. Now you're on mic, and I got to turn you back down to my ears. You were doing great for a minute. Mike. Good Lord.
So we got a great show lined up today, man. Hey, Pete, like the dust settles after the Super Bowl, right?
I tweeted. I never tweet about this show. I tweeted about you this morning because we're post Super Bowl, right? And like, what do you talk about? And people are like, oh, the Super Bowl's over. There's no football. What are you going to talk about? And we probably have more in this show today to cover and talk about than we've had in the last 3 weeks.
And Mike, our first guest, Billy Werndl. First of all, Billy Werndl is a pioneer in sports talk radio. I mean, he's been around for a long time. Matter of fact, in his bio, Pete, which I think is pretty funny, it states that his first interview was with Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, there you go.
Many moons ago. But the wisdom, like Billy, you know what Billy reminds me of a little bit? Like Jack Klugman Remember the is that a pretty accurate?
Well, I hope that
The Odd Couple.
And I don't mean, and I say
Odd
that
Couple.
endearingly. I don't mean like
No. When I think of Jack Klugman, I don't think of the Odd Couple for some reason. For some reason, I think of Quincy, and that was Jack Klugman to me. You know, I mean, Quincy MD, what a great show! And when they ripped the sheet off and all the medical students passed out, you know, he was the coroner, he was the forensic examiner or whatever he was.
But Billy Werndl is like, you know, he's like the grandfather. He just exudes like sports. You know what I mean?
You know, he's one of those guys that you want to do. You want to just call him up and say, "I want to take you to dinner tonight," and just pick his brain. Pick his brain
because he wrote it in his book. In his book.
Oh my God, because I said to you one thing. Hey, when we talk about Billy Werndl, make sure you mention his book. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. And I said, all right.
I'm getting ready to mention his book, and you started laughing at it.
Well, because you forgot the name of the book.
No, I didn't.
Do you have it?
By the way,
that no, I didn't.
Are we gonna get through this show? We're gonna get through this show today.
Well, you know, I gotta rip on him a little. The book
listen,
is called.
Don't take out on me because you got beat up on Friday.
The book is called No. I'm not really punching.
No curveballs.
Thank you. I was about to say that.
I can't hear you, Pete. You're not in my headphones anymore.
That's correct. Good. I wish I had like a.
Pete, can you turn your? I can't hear you.
I'm still talking. Can you hear me, Mike Carlin?
I can hear you.
Good. That's operator error. Then check the loose.
No curveballs.
No curveballs. I was going to say that,
but
you know.
Billy Werndl, we're gonna get the state of Philadelphia sports. Mike and I talked a little bit about this yesterday, but Billy, with his wisdom, he's been around, he's seen it all, and I just like getting his opinion.
I mean, not for nothing, but I don't even know that you did this. Do you know where Jack Klugman was born?
No, I have no idea.
Mike?
No.
This is why we liked Jack Klugman so
Philadelphia.
much. That is correct. He was born in Philadelphia.
How about that? I did not know that.
Right. No. And when you Google Jack Klugman, there's 5 pictures that come up, right? One of the 5.
I don't have you in my. I can't hear.
One of the 5, Quincy. One of the 5 pictures. One of the 5 is Quincy. Well, then, Billy, it's Radio 101. You take one headphone and you move it slightly off your ear, so then you can hear what's in the studio as well as hearing what's coming through the microphone. Because trust me, Mike Carlin hears me, the radio audience hears me, the StreamYard hears me.
If you take them off, you'll hear everything too.
I just feel uncomfortable. Anyway, by the way, we're
this, buddy.
We're streaming live on YouTube. My YouTube channel, The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, and then my Facebook page, Billy Schwein. Very easy to find us. And then, Pete, after we talk with Billy Werndl, we're going to talk with a great story. I've watched this youngster grow up on the beach at 25th Street in Ocean City. I've known his father and his mother for a long time. Joe Septenfelter, I used to play hockey with years ago.
Okay.
But I watched TJ grow up on the beach. And he's now the starting goalie for the Northeastern Huskies, who just played in the Beanpot, lost to Boston College, but he was the starting goalie. He played great.
From Ocean City.
Yeah, he's on the beach at 25th Street. I watched this kid grow up, and he's on TV. I got emotional, Pete. I saw they had a picture. He had his, like, you know how they take a picture from like a headshot.
Mm-hmm.
You see that they're wearing you can see he had a coat and tie on, and they had his stats under there. I got emotional to see that. Was so cool.
I mean, think about it. I'm not a big hockey fan, but I know enough to know in college at that level that he's playing at. That's like someone playing for Kentucky basketball.
That's right.
Or Duke or Notre Dame football. I mean, he's made it to the top that he can in that field.
That's exactly right. He's only a freshman. He just won the Everly Award for the best save percentage out of all the goalies in the Beanpot.
41 saves against Boston College.
Yes,
in a loss, but still 41 saves.
And the goal that he gave up was not his fault. It was a 2-on-1, and I don't know how the puck got past him because his pad was right there. The kid, the goal scorer was so tight to TJ. I don't know how he lifted it over his pad.
29 saves in a win over Vermont, 30 saves in a slight loss to UMass Lowell. I mean, he's playing at the high level. And what's he, 18?
Yeah, he's got 8 games, 2.5.
I asked you how old he was.
He's what? He's 18.
He's got to be 18, 19 years old. Freshman. Billy, and you said before and he's starting because the real starter is in the Olympics.
Yeah, because the starting goalie's in the Olympics. By the way,
I'm sorry, the what?
The starting.
Yeah, right.
Oh, there's Olympics.
Well, both the United States and Canada got sent home early. They didn't even make the medal round
for hockey.
Yes.
Oh, okay. How about women's hockey?
They lost.
Billy?
No, I do know
that.
Crickets.
Take it easy over there.
I didn't say. I mean, I don't know.
I'll tell you
what. We're in like 6th place in the medals.
Yeah, they're
in women's hockey. The women lost to the Canadians, so it was flip flop. The last time the Winter Olympics were held, the U.S. women actually beat the Canadian women. And I just watched a great story the other day, Billy, that I thought would interest you. In fact, I saw it on 6ABC about how Rowan, it was Newman University, has a women's hockey team. And so the Ed Snyder Youth Foundation brought a bunch of young female hockey players over to watch these college girls go at it at Iceworks in Aston. I know you know where Iceworks is.
I used to
Billy.
play there.
Yes. So that was a cool story to see, like, these young kids who really didn't know much about the game sitting on the bench watching, and they had a great soundbite too. The one woman said something, the one skater said something about, a lot of people know the men's game. They don't follow the women's game, but sometimes we're better than the men. And I thought,
fundamentally, when you watch girls basketball, fundamentally, they're more fundamentally sound than the guys, I think.
That's the John Wooden quote, that the game is played best below the rim.
Yes.
Once the game got above the rim.
I still can't watch it, though, but fundamentally,
it's tough. Well,
I have a hard time watching.
All right, so great show lined up with the two guests, but how about the Villanova Wildcats last night, Mike?
It wasn't a pretty game.
Well, guess what? And by the way, the sportsbook consigliere,
right?
The spread, Pete, was 19 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and a good thing I tried to get the bet in. I was going to take the 19,
and you would have lost.
That's what I told Josh.
I was going to give the 19. I would have lost. Yeah. But it had the lock on it.
Oh.
I don't know why the game wasn't even tipped off. I couldn't get in.
I gave Josh 2 games yesterday. They were 2 for 2. I said take the 19.
Take the 19.
And I said
19.
And I said the Kansas West Virginia game at West Virginia. I said it's going to be close, but Kansas will cover that.
And here's the thing about the Villanova Wildcats.
I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, they're good. I mean, and they're back in the top 10 nationally at 10, I believe, but they're not like that dream season yet. Like, they're certainly not in that category.
Villanova.
Yeah, Villanova.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, they're all underclassmen, aren't they? Most of them they're all underclassmen.
What's great about it is they don't really have one. They don't have like a star that's getting ready to go to the NBA.
Yeah, but what they do have, and we discussed this last week, they have balanced scoring.
They have. Yeah.
I mean, they get almost all their 5 starters in double figures the last couple games.
You're exactly right.
Just
like last night.
Can you see that on the StreamYard, Billy? I got that for you today. Yeah, I grabbed that because I knew that Carlin is the ace of all this stuff.
Wow,
Gonzaga, right? Who do we got here? Yeah. This is what your top 16 would be: Gonzaga, Duke, Illinois, and Texas, Auburn, Purdue, Texas Tech, and UCLA, Kansas, Kentucky, Villanova, Wisconsin, Arizona, Baylor, Tennessee, Providence. And then they even put to the side of them, Gonzaga is considered to be the top team in the country. And then just sliding in there at 16 is Texas. Now, I don't know about you, Mike Carlin, but when I hear a school like Texas or Providence at 15, oh my God, isn't Providence Pitino? No. He's Iona. He's
coming with the MAC.
Yeah, he's coming for the MAC, but he used to be there. Anyhow, when I hear these teams at 15 and 16, they're powerhouse teams.
Yeah.
So
it's stocked.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Billy, but I'm starting to get fired up for.
I am too, man.
It's going to be a great
talk. By the way, I spoke with Ryan Fannin, the radio voice of the Villanova Wildcats, the other day. He's going to be on the program next week, but he's just so passionate and so knowledgeable about Villanova basketball. He hits you when I text him. He hit me with all these stats and stuff. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting pumped up. March Madness is right around the corner.
And when we come back, we'll talk more about Villanova, and because I got some things that you're going to want to hear.
All right. So with that, the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts to help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, for the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, please call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. My winter watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming, and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869. Or send Debbie an email, Debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll get into it. basketball talk. You're listening to The Locker with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Rick Mahorn and me for all the action as Johnny Davis and the Badgers look to get past Hunter Dickinson and the Wolverines. It's Wisconsin and Michigan. If it's
to vintage gear shifters. I can't imagine being able to stock 122 million parts. I mean, where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin.
Are we though? Can you hear yourself? Are we back?
Yeah, you made the adjustment, Pete. Thank you.
Fix it again.
You want to talk about
that's why you're the producer here.
My high level
he set me up today.
Radio engineering. Now tell the listeners and the viewers what I did.
All you did was just twist the
jiggled the cord.
Jiggled the cord. Your expertise.
You don't think you could have done that at some point in time? I mean, my God.
I thought it was something you were doing over there.
Number one problem when there's like a toilet problem, what do? You jiggle the handle, right? Number one problem in radio when you can't hear something.
This is what Sundays are
Try
consistent
fixing
of.
it
You don't get a
yourself.
chance to talk sports. You just wants to break my stones.
I have to. You're over there.
Did you get up on the wrong side of the bed, Pete?
No, I got up right in the middle like I always do.
You got a date after the show.
He's got a date today.
It's a mandate.
Oh.
with a fella.
Do we get in that? Do we talk about that?
Well, that sounds like a different show. But
Tell us
no,
who you're hooking up with.
I'm supposed to have lunch with former TV 40 meteorologist, current Channel 69 meteorologist Dan Skeldon. So he's down here to take care of some business in Ocean City, actually, Mike. And he said, "Do you want to meet up?" And we are.
We're gonna take him to Randazzo's.
Sure, that's exactly it. Joe Pop.
Yeah, man. Get that lobster bisque going.
Billy, don't you think? I love Joe Pop. Don't you think we already have the plan set and we're going where he set it up?
I know. I'm just giving you, just throwing ideas at you.
I love that.
Because you want the best food in Ocean City, you go to Randazzo's. Isn't that right, Mike?
That's true.
It is true.
If it was still,
Mike knows if
it was still football season, I'd tell him that I was treating for lunch and he could have one Blitz's hoagie. Right?
Yeah.
If it was an Eagles game day.
Yeah. All right, Carlin, you were telling us a story.
Great story.
I think it's a story that deserves repeating to the listeners about your experience coaching Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
So go ahead and bring that up again. You're talking about you and I are both PW guys, and that you were coaching PW for a while.
So I played for PW and then came back and started coaching.
You're talking like summer league stuff, like you're an assistant coach, but then the head coach can't be the coach during the summer, right?
Correct.
You got to run kind of
correct. So now I'm running the
informal stuff, right?
And to speed the story up, at the end of the year, we picked an all-star team. Lower Marion was in our tournament. Coatesville, we had some high-power people. Roman Catholic was in it. I mean, it was a who's who. So we pick an all-star team, and I get to coach the team. So it's a one game. We're going to play like someone up in the Harrisburg area of their all-star. So I got Kobe on the team.
And they came to practice at the PW gym?
One practice. Sure. We had one practice just to get, and it was a typical all-star. Guys, you all can play the game. Just there's no plays. Just pick and roll kind of thing. Get the rebound run. So I have him. I have Rick Hamilton.
Rip.
Yep. John Salmons, who went on to play in the NBA. I mean, these are all NBA players.
Yeah.
But some of the stories that I could tell you about Kobe that really only about three people know. I was in the gym after one of the practices, and it was Kobe way down on one end of the court, and it was Jelly Bean, his dad, Al Angelos, and me were talking. And out of our eye, we see Kobe stepping out, trying to figure out how many steps it's going to take from the baseline to get to the basket. And we're like, what is he doing? And all of a sudden, he steps back, and we're watching. He doesn't see us watching him. And he literally starts running and puts the ball through his right leg, and then his right arm tomahawks a dunk, all in one motion.
He's doing this in high school, Pete.
Yeah.
This is a kid that's a junior going into his senior year.
Right.
And he's being recruited by everybody. It's Duke. And then this is when it just started, but he may go to the NBA, all that kind of talk. Immediately, his dad says, turn around, act like you didn't see it.
Why?
And Billy would be like, what?
Why?
He didn't want to pump him up. He thought too many people were pumping him up. He was like, oh, act like you didn't see it. And we're all just standing for like a split second. We're all just like,
turned around.
Did we just see what we just saw? And immediately you hear him yelling from all the way on the other end of the court. I know you saw it. I know you saw it. Don't act like you didn't see it.
He wants witnesses.
Yeah. I mean, it was unbelievable.
The Kobe Wolf, right? Yeah. I mean, the guy was an outstanding trash talker, wasn't he?
Oh, he was unbelievable.
And then you had a second story. You said you went out to L.A. And by the way, on the StreamYard, if you're watching on the StreamYard, that's the book, Kobe Bryant and the Pursuit of Immortality. It's called The Rise. It's by our good friend Mike Sealski, who's a LaSalle grad, Inquirer columnist, right? And the great pullout quote they have on the front of the book, and I love this, Mike Carlin and Billy Schweim, is every superhero needs an origin story, and that's from Jeff Pearlman, and that's really what the book is about. If you want to describe what there's a lot of Kobe books out there, right? There's been a lot written about Kobe Bryant. Not this book. This book is finally the labor of love to go back and get that origin story from when he first came back to the States, how he ended up in the Philadelphia area, and how he ended up on that Lower Marion team and dominating and all that good stuff. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Your second story was at the, the Staples Center?
Yep. So we're at Staples Center. This is Lakers' first trip back with him on the team.
Right.
I go with my wife, and we have friends in from L.A., born and raised in L.A., Lakers fans. Okay. They actually went to the game with their Lakers gear on. We had told them, hey, I'm going to get tickets. We're going to go down and see the Lakers. I have no idea that we're going to see Kobe. We're just going to the game. Well, like a half an hour before the game, team's out shooting foul shots, stuff. I get as close as I can before, security saying, can't go any further. Let me see your tickets. And he sees me, and he literally starts walking over to me. And as he gets closer, he yells to security, he's all right. He's a friend. He's a friend. So I walk up and I said, Kobe, hey, he goes, hey, coach, how you doing? I said, good. And I said, Kobe, I need a favor. I said, you've never met my wife. My wife's here and friends from LA. Sure, come on. So he tells security, let those three in. So we're literally standing on the side of the court.
Right.
And we're talking to Kobe and they can't believe it. And all of a sudden, her name's Rachel. She whispers in my ear, we're really, really Shaq friends. And I was like, okay, well, we're talking with this is Kobe, but I'll ask.
Right, okay.
So I said, Kobe, you can see how they're dressed. They're fans of yours. I said, but they really want to meet Shaq. And he looks at it, he goes, all right, no problem. And he yells, Shaq's shooting foul shots from all the way on the other side of the court. He goes, Shaq, come down here. All of a sudden, Shaq starts walking down.
Like a monster.
And
like
as he gets closer, you start realizing how big he is.
Oh, my God.
When they look big on TV.
I saw him in the airport, in LAX airport.
With the uniform on. I mean, when he got to us, it literally, I'm 6'3", 6'4". I'm looking up. His arms were bigger than my legs.
Yeah.
So anyway, they say, Shaq, these are friends from LA. He goes, they just wanted to say hello to you. Well, you know how he talked. And he's shaking a hand. When we walked away, now that's just, God knows what, 30 years later.
Right.
Still to this time when we see our friends from LA,
they're
like,
about,
I cannot believe we've met Shaq. And
Pete, it's like a kid asking another athlete for another athlete.
Yeah. Don't ask for a picture when you're on the field. We've hit that story.
That went right over my head, didn't it?
Now listen, I knew where you were going with that. Mike Carlin and Billy, I'm glad that you ended the story with Shaq because Shaq and Chuck are going to be a part of some broadcast team tonight on TNT, like an alternate cast. You guys know when we have college basketball that they always do, like they'll do the regular broadcast with like Jim Nance, then they'll do one with like the Kentucky announcers, then they'll do one with the North. You know what I'm saying? Like they have the different streams. Well, Shaq, this is awesome. And I'm going to
be doing play-by-play?
They are going to do, it's going to be Charles Barkley was going to call it with Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller.
Wow.
That was the original thing they were going to do. But now they've decided that inside the NBA team, Shaq, Chuck, Ernie, the Jet, they're going to headline an alternate broadcast on TBS.
Oh, how about
just like the Manning cast.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
So I'm sorry, Kevin Harlan, who I love. I'm sorry, Reggie Miller. I don't give a bleep about you anymore.
Well, I got to tell you,
I'm going to this TBS broadcast.
I love that.
Tonight.
I love that TV. I love the TNT.
How about when they picked the All-Star team?
Yeah.
Did you see that? I mean, that was just.
But I mean, Shaq, Charles, they do a great job.
Yeah.
They're so good.
They don't hold back.
Really
That's
good.
Great. They
and
don't hold
they're
back.
real.
I normally, as you guys know, have to get up early in the morning, so I normally am in bed. What happened the other night when the Sixers played Milwaukee, and that was a TNT game, and the crew was already in Cleveland, by the way.
Yeah.
They were at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
My son was in the background.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome to watch that show. So I know the show's good, right? But I just don't see it a lot. And because the broadcast was on TNT and because I had a little Tigers news, I kind of missed the second quarter, but that's a whole nother story. I sat and watched that thing, and I just thought, this is gold. This is TV gold. It's kind of like what the locker room is when I get on Billy's case for not figuring out how to work his headphones.
In a few minutes, we're going to be talking with pioneer of radio, sports talk radio in this area. Billy Werndl is going to be joining us, and we're going to get a chance to talk to Billy about the state of sports in Philadelphia, which is the theme of the weekend show. So I want to remind people the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli mid-size sedan, the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. But your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the mainline, today at 484-804-4800.
That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. When we return, we'll talk with Billy Werndl. You're listening to The Locker Room with Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, Billy Schweim, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
The 2022 NBA All-Star Game.
Durant for three.
appreciate those kind words.
Now, Billy, football's over. Okay, the dust is settling, but basketball's now ramping up. There's so much. I mean, thank God for the Sixers and their big trade, because with the Flyers, I've never seen a Flyers team this bad in my life. And you're the first person I thought of, because on one hand, we got a great trade, no more football, great trade. The Flyers stink, and we might not even have any baseball. So I wanted to get you on for the state of Philly sports. So let's start off with the Philadelphia Flyers. Billy, what is going on over there?
I've never seen the Flyers play so poorly. I mean, maybe we overestimated the play of Carter Hart. Maybe we thought he was going to be the next Bernie Perron or Pelly Lindbergh or Ron Hextall. Obviously, he has not lived up to expectations. You can blame a certain amount on the defense, but goaltenders sometimes have to step up and really be that wall that you need in goal. And he has not done it on a consistent basis. They don't have a sniper. They make a lot of mistakes. They fired Vigneault, the coach. Now they have Mike Yeo. He's not been able to push the right buttons. I think maybe this Flyers hockey team has got to look at themselves and say, we've got to have a complete rebuild. People don't like rebuild in this city. It's a transition, or we're working on, revamping our team. But they need a complete rebuild. I think that they have to convince Claude Giroux to accept the trade. I mean, they have many, many parts to the puzzle that they've got to solve, because all these guys who we thought coming up through their minor league system were going to be stalwarts in the National Hockey League. They have not stepped up.
No, I know this. And I know this team has got a lot of injuries, but a lot of teams go through that. I know the Philadelphia Flyers.
I don't want to hear injuries.
No,
injuries are part of the game, Billy. I mean, the excuses are for losers. I mean, COVID, injuries. I mean, everybody goes through injuries. You can't use that anymore. I mean, that's part of the equation. I mean, you have to have guys that are going to come up and step up and be accounted for. You have to dip into your minor league system. We just turned to a team that's right now in a lockout, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
Why have they been treading water? They do not have a good minor league system. You have to have a good, solid minor league system, developing players, pushing guys on the parent club, and making sure nobody's in a comfortable position. So as long as the Flyers do not produce, I mean, they were Sanheim, Provorov. You thought these guys, Konechny, would be taking the next step. I mean, they haven't taken that next step. And that's so important in the game of hockey or any other sport.
And like that turnover the other night, Provorov, did you see that play, Pete? I mean,
yeah, it breaks my heart, because
I don't know what the heck
he's the guy. He's
like,
the guy you're supposed to rely on, and it's even affecting him. So that's when you've hit rock bottom. That and the attendance. Billy, I went to a game the other day as a fan, and I looked at that attendance, and I was like, "Oh my God! Oh wow!" There's
Bill. Did you ever think you'd see a Wells Fargo Center with 8,000 people in it?
No. Absolutely not. Yeah, I remember when they first started out. I went to Flyers games back in the day. When they first started out in the 66-67 season, there were like 6,200 in the Spectrum at that time. This was an expansion team. This was a new sport introduced to the city of Philadelphia. So they were going through growing pains. But this team would have 17,000 people every night at the Spectrum, every night. Now they have fallen on tough times, and the sports dollar is so contracted today, because the Eagles cost a lot of money to go, the Sixers cost a lot of money to go, the Flyers, the Phillies. I mean, if you take a family of four and want decent seats, you're spending every bit of $300-400.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about that yesterday. We talked about the sports dollar.
It's just terrible what is going on. And these franchises better start realizing the average Joe can't afford it. And the other area where you have to look is cable TV. They keep hyping the prices there, and there's more cord cutting in cable TV now. Yep. So you've got a double-edged sword that you have to take care of unless you're driving the average guy away, and the next generation of sports fans may not say, I really don't want to go to a Sixers game, too costly. I really don't want to go to a Flyers game, too costly.
Right, and I'll just watch 30 seconds of highlights on TikTok the next day on my phone. That's what they're saying.
Kids, that's what the younger generation's doing.
That's right.
Hey, Billy,
and, you know,
the word I keep hearing is corporate from the old schoolers, you know, and I defer to you because you've been around longer than me, but I think that I'm not a youngster anymore. I'm 51, so I sit there, and when I hear people that have been around the game, especially the Flyers, when I hear that word corporate, and I also hear people talk about, you know, once Mr. Snyder passed, everything's been different. Those are like the two main themes that I hear the most, but I often hear that word. It's become corporate, and corporate is where they care more about what Gritty's doing than they care about the talent level on the ice.
And they also care about the bottom line. That's all they worry about. That's all they think about. I mean, again, Gritty's a great, great thing, a mascot. Are you going to go out to a game to see a mascot? Are you kidding me? I want to see action. I want to see a good hockey team. And as long as they don't have a good hockey team, they're going to suffer at the gate. And they're also suffer on the ratings and radio and TV.
All right, and then let's turn our attention to the Eagles because their season ended, about a month ago, and of course you work with Merrill Release as a spotter for the radio broadcast. So you're there, you're seeing it, you're living it. The Eagles is Jalen Hurts our quarterback. We got 3 picks in the first round. Where are we going with him? Is Howie going to try to outsmart the room again? What do you think's going on with the Eagles, Bill?
Well, it's very important that they realize that their defense is one of the worst in the National Football League. Fletcher Cox is a shadow of himself. Mm-hmm. I mean, Brandon Graham, you got to count on him coming off an Achilles. You got questionable linebacking play. Your safeties are getting up in years, McLeod and Harris. I mean, Darius Slay is not a young guy anymore. He'll be 32 when the season starts. They've got to address that defense. And I would think if Howie Rose's been smart, now a lot of people think that, hey, they're not going to keep all 3 of their first-round picks. They're going to trade one for a future in 2023. This team can't think about, well, we got to make a big splash with Russell Wilson. If you look at this roster, are they 1 or 2 players away from getting over the top? Are they that type of franchise that you could say, wow, look, I don't look at the last 5 or 6 games of the season when they played teams with JV quarterbacks, Jake Fromm, and people like that. I mean, that you're not facing great quarterbacks, all right? Yeah, they faced Zach Wilson. He was coming off an injury. Taylor Heineke's a good little backup. But this is not a great defensive team.
Reed Sinet's mom just called. She's very upset that you said that, Billy. Reed Sinet, the Washington guy that was such a joker. Or Garrett Gilbert, right?
Gilbert.
I mean, these guys are all upset.
I mean, these are JV quarterbacks. Let's be honest with you. I mean, you can't look at these guys, Pete and Mike and Billy, that these guys were just backups of the backups. I mean, they weren't even a backup. When you look at that, we got in the playoffs. What happened when you faced Tom Brady in the first round?
Right.
Expanding the playoffs, another team where the Steelers got embarrassed and the Eagles got embarrassed. That is not a good look for the National Football League.
And that's the 2 extra teams.
What hockey and basketball are doing. 8 teams from 2 different conferences vying for the playoffs. That's not sports to me. No. It should be 4 teams maximum from the NBA and the National Hockey League. That way the games will be more meaningful and people would really, really respect it. When you have 8 teams in the playoffs in the West and the East, that really cheapens the sport. All right? No doubt. Really cheapens. And they're cheapening the sport in the National Football League, expanding. The Steelers couldn't get out of their way in that game. Yeah. And the Eagles there was 31-0. If they wanted to put 60 on the board, they could have.
We're talking with legendary radio broadcaster, sports broadcaster, Billy Werndl. Now, Billy, the 76ers, they are our saviors. the only them and Villanova.
Wait a minute, Billy Schwein. They are your savior.
Well, as far as like get excited about a team, like they just pulled off one of the biggest trades ever. Yeah, what do we got to be excited about?
Talk about?
What do we got to be excited about?
Billy, the future is now with the Sixers. Either this year or next year, they have to win a championship. I don't want to hear, well, we made it the Eastern Conference Final. Whoop-de-doo. All right? You got to win a championship in the next 2 years. All right?
All right. Well, look, at least Morey went out and pulled the trigger. And
in your opinion, you gentlemen, do you think this team is capable of beating? What happened in the Celtics game the other night? They got blown out by 48 points.
Yeah. I'll take the one that played Milwaukee, please.
Milwaukee
yeah, but you know who helped? Billy, you know who helped in that Milwaukee game? James Harden, even though he didn't play. He got in Tyrese Maxey's ear, and he kind of helped Tyrese Maxey realize, dude, you're better than these people. Run past him. Go be aggressive. That was cool to see.
Billy, it was.
You know what bothers me about the Sixers in the last number of years under Brett Brown and Doc Rivers? Late in the game, they have a tendency to cough up the basketball.
Yeah.
That inbound pass at the end of the game.
Oh, court
and Milwaukee. This is a CYO move. It's not even a JV move. I mean, they almost lost the game because of that sheer stupidity.
We're talking with Billy Werndl. You can follow him on Twitter at the Werndell. Mike, you have a question for Billy.
Yeah, well, two, because he just said something that I've been thinking all along. But Billy, you made it clear, and I agree 100% about, the Sixers, if they're going to win it, it's the next 2 years with this team we have right now. I'm giving them this year, actually. I'm saying this is the year that you have to take advantage of, because literally I think the Nets are better than them next year after they have a year together, that team, that if you're going to take advantage of it, you got to win this year and just hope that Durant comes back hurt and stuff like that. I mean, this is it.
I agree with you. Harden will be a year older next year. Yeah. He's had some hamstring problems. You're absolutely right. And, you can't say, well, wait. And the other thing that bothers me when you watch the Sixers, Embiid holds the ball too long. All right?
Yeah.
You get the ball, you got to make a decision quickly. And you can't keep putting the ball on the floor because it's being deflected, knocked away. That's the one big thing with Embiid that bothers me. He wants to be a point guard at 7'1". All right?
Yeah.
Please.
We're going back to the Charles Barkley days where he got the ball and everybody just looked at him. What's he going to do with it?
But I will say this, though. Now he does hold on to the ball. But this year, Billy, he's been passing. He's been seeing the court real well.
So Billy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
It's Michael. So I was doing my homework, and I was excited when Billy said yesterday when I was with him that you were going to be on, just of all the years and all the sports that you've been involved with. And I wanted to know, and I'm sure the people that are listening would love to know, what is the one story that when people say, hey, you've had an unbelievable life, you've interviewed and you've been to live events, what really stands out, whether it's the interview that stands out or the game, or a game, the special event that you went to that no matter who you talk to and they ask you, they in the back of your mind, it's like, oh, I know exactly what it is. That maybe a lot of people don't know.
Well, the biggest event, of course, I went to the Super Bowl, I've been to the World Series and all that. And the one thing that really bothered me the most, and I remember my good friend who was then National League president, Bill White. We went to Baltimore. He was doing the Yankee games. And I turned to Bill in the car and I said, Bill, there's a guy in baseball that's going to get in a lot of trouble for gambling. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me and said, who's that? And remember, there was no interleague play at that time. And he said, who's that? I said, Pete Rose.
Mm.
He becomes National League president on January 29th, 1989. And I called him and congratulated him because it was on ESPN, the whole deal. And he said, how did you know? I said, Bill, it was all over the news. No, how did you know about Rose? I've got to go through 12 volumes of evidence. It's on my desk right now.
Oh, my God.
In 2 weeks. That probably was the most, remarkable story that I was ever involved with, because the problem was that we knew Pete liked the action. We didn't know how deep he was into the action as far as baseball is concerned. And it's really unfortunate today that every time you turn the damn TV on, you have all these gambling websites or radio.
Taking over.
It's sickening. And you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you something. It really disturbs me because here's what we're leading to. There's going to be a major, major scandal in one of the 4 major sports. And I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, I can't believe that. Yeah, you can believe it because the sports teams, the college teams are all in bed with gamblers.
Yeah.
And I don't care when anybody says it's legalized gambling. Yeah. What about a family member who gets into trouble financially and he needs a way out and he goes to somebody and says, hey, just don't have a good game today and I'll be able to clear this debt. I'm telling you guys.
That's wisdom right there.
I
he
may
knows.
not see today, but
he's right.
We are walking a very tight rope.
See, that's one of the changes that like Billy has seen come to fruition, like work out through the years. You know what I mean? Gambling with Pete Rose was like, cardinal sin. You don't certainly don't bet on your own sport, which he was doing. Now, like you said, there's gambling sites all over the place, and you're just leaving yourself in a bad position, Billy. I agree, and let's hope it doesn't come true. But Billy, we got to roll. I really appreciate having you on. I saw you at the premiere of American Hero. That was a great mirror. American Underdog. What was it?
American Underdog.
The American Underdog.
You mean the movie you didn't take me to? Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
What'd you think of that movie, Bill?
It was a very inspirational movie.
Yeah.
I think Dick Vermeil looks a lot younger than Dennis Quaid, who played Vermeil.
All right, Billy. Listen, man. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the All-Star game tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.
No, I'm not going to even watch
You're not?
that
game.
Attaboy. Real pleasure.
192 to 188.
Attaboy.
All right, Billy.
All right, Bill.
There's Billy Werndell, the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. How prophetic is that, you guys? Talking about gambling.
He was right there, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
that's unbelievable. He's casually friends with Bill White and says, I know a guy that's kind of got a problem here. And then Bill White, and on the day that he calls him to say congratulations on getting the job, old White wants to talk about is how the hell did you know? I mean, if you're in Philly and you're around Philly like Billy was for a long time, it was right in front of your face. You couldn't not see that stuff. I mean, it was right there. So
and people talk.
Yeah, and people talk.
Billy Werndell,
right? Even before
Delaware
social
County,
media.
they take their sports serious.
He's the
So
best,
they do.
right?
Yeah,
At the
media area.
Werndell. Don't go to his old address
It's
like
at
I
the
did
Werndell.
originally this morning. You know what's funny? He's got a picture on his Twitter page of him, Merrill Reese, and Mike Quick. That's the broadcast team. I had to look at it. I looked at it 5 times. And I thought,
girls all great.
No, I thought what's Jeffrey Lurie do? Where's Billy in the picture? Then I realized, oh crap, that's Billy in the middle. I love you, Billy. He's the best.
All right. The first hour of the locker room was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shortest center city and every place in between, Surety Title's there for you. 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia, South Jersey to attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap it up. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein. The first hour of The Locker Room is second hour is coming up next right here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.
books. He's been so much experience, so many experiences.
If I was a better producer, I would have been able to back time that better and tell you that we were going to hit it right on the nose.
You're a great producer.
You know what happened? Instead, I went to play the Police song, and I was like, oh, there's other music playing. Where's that coming from? It's called Heartbreak. It comes at the bottom of every hour.
First hour is in the books. Fastest hour in sports radio. Next one's coming up. At the bottom of the second hour, we're going to be talking with TJ Semptimphelter, the starting goalie for the Northeastern Huskies. So we got all that and more. A little Eagles talk. We'll talk about the All-Star game, NBA All-Star game tonight at 8 o'clock. All coming up next right here in the locker with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin on 97.3 ESPN.
Hoops are happening in college basketball.
Guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station.
Red 83!
to the locker room. Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
All right, we are back here in the locker room Sunday morning, February 21.
20. You were so close.
You're close.
I thought it was today's the 21st.
No, President's Day is the 21st. 20. So close. Never let the facts get in the way of a good
one day.
story.
One day's not bad. There.
By the way, I've been meaning
So
to
I
tell
said
you
yesterday
this.
was the 20th. Mike, you didn't even correct me.
No, he was nervous. I've been meaning to tell you this, Billy Schwein.
Boss is always right, Bill.
They had a graphic during the Super Bowl,
right,
that was mentioning different Super Bowls in the past or something like that. And I don't know if it was during the Super Bowl or maybe the Monday after, where I was showing my kids like the origin of the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the things that people were talking about coming out of the Super Bowl was how great was that halftime show. Hey, I enjoyed it. Okay. And listen, I'm a curmudgeon as best as anybody else, but that was music that I could move to, and I thought it was a good show.
Get off my lawn.
All right, Gran Torino over there. The point is, when they showed the thing, they were talking about Michael Jackson being like where basically the Super Bowl halftime show. You remember the first Super Bowl, guys?
Then they have they had a band, a marching band.
That is correct, sir. For about a good decade to 10 to 12 years or 14 years, the Super Bowl's halftime show was a band.
And they had that guy in a jetpack flying around.
They had like Up With People one year. That was the thing my sister was involved in when she went to PW. It was like some like Glee Club group, basically Up With People. The one year, the damn Super Bowl halftime show was It's a Small World After All, because they were in either
Well,
California
when I went to
or
the Super
Florida.
Bowl in 2004, I saw Paul McCartney.
Yeah, that's where they
was
overcorrected.
phenomenal.
And you know why Paul McCartney played?
Why?
Because 2 or 3 years earlier, you had the Janet Jackson incident, and they had to overcorrect.
Well,
They
guess what?
couldn't have any wardrobe malfunctions anymore. My point of this story that I was working up to, my God, this is tough to do sometimes, is that the referee, I believe, for the Michael Jackson Super Bowl was Bob McElwee. So when I heard him in the open there, I thought, oh, I've got to remind Billy that he was the guy.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, that Super Bowl, just being in there, you go growing up, you see all the flash bulbs go off.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you're watching the videos and all the Super Bowls past, one thing that stands out with me is all the cameras going off, right? You see all those. Well, when I was actually in Jacksonville in the stadium,
I was there.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then you were at that show. You were at the game
I was
too.
at the game.
And that halftime show was phenomenal.
Paul McCartney.
Yes.
Right. I mean, so you did not like the halftime show that currently ran.
It was okay, but for all the people on Twitter and all these social media telling how great it was,
I got to tell you, I watched it with my wife.
Yeah.
And when it was over, my wife looked at me and I looked at her and I was like, it wasn't really, it just wasn't me.
I don't know, guys. I know this.
The next day, though, Pete, next day,
then it was blowing up on social media.
Blowing up.
Best ever
It was the
halftime
best
show ever.
Her Facebook, it was, I never saw anything like it. And I'm like,
I know.
did I watch the same thing? But we're all different.
It's subjective. I mean, look, that Paul McCartney show is the one, from obviously Jacksonville, Florida, right? So Paul McCartney, after the Janet Jackson incident. Yes,
Miss Jackson to you.
Yeah. After Janet Jackson had her thing with Justin Timberlake, these were the 5 acts, okay? They totally went like, how safe can we go? Paul McCartney, the Rolling Stones, Prince, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Bruce Springsteen. Those were the 5 acts. And then by 2009, I guess they figured out, like, you know what? It's not going to get crazy again. After that, you had The Who, the Black Eyed Peas.
And everybody's ripping
Madonna,
on The Who.
Beyonce.
I'm not a Who guy.
I love The Who.
I do. I call them the 2 because there's only 2 left. But, and I'm going to see them at the Wells Fargo Center, by the way.
But I mean, I heard people saying that was The Who. They're ripping the show, ripping that halftime show. Their music is great. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Bruno Mars has been in there a couple times.
He was good. He was good.
Yeah, but he also had some Red Hot Chili Peppers mixes in there because a couple of guys from the Red Hot Chili Peppers mixed in with it.
Prince was the best for me.
But by the way, as I sit here and I talk about Janet Jackson and her wardrobe malfunction, you know that Prince was a pretty damn smart guy. He still found a way to get some suggestive imagery into his show. If you guys remember that.
I don't remember the specifics of it.
I'll tell you in the commercial break.
What was his main song that he was known for? And it actually started Purple Rain, and it started raining during that song.
Is that right?
On stage.
But I mean, he was just as good with "Let's Go Crazy." And,
But they were all worried about.
Also, we're talking about social media.
1999.
I just saw a thing that Dick Vermeil being told that he's going into the Hall of Fame. I'm surprised he didn't shed more tears because he's a crier, right?
Yeah, he is. So are you.
I am too.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at it. I was getting ready to. But then
Carlin, do you cry?
Are you a crier, Carlin?
I would say I'm a crier.
Yeah.
my friends would say I'm a
what in
crier.
the world of sports that you can watch? You can just say I'm going to bring tears.
Brian's song. Absolutely.
Brian's song.
Every time.
Oh, here's another one. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Champ?
Oh, yeah, the Champ. That's with Ryan O'Neal and a young Ricky Schroeder.
Oh,
At the end, Champ, wake up, Champ, wake up. I mean, that was just God.
See, I get more emotional when I hear like Harry Callis do like when they go into a rain delay, they do the history of a season.
Sure.
Like when they do the 93 team or the 1980 Phillies team, I'll be in tears for that. If I see anything,
Miracle with Kurt Russell, did make you cry?
Well, yeah.
And the end credits. I mean, that's the best use of an Aerosmith song ever.
Yeah. The 73, 74, 74, 75 Flyers. If I ever hear Gene Hart
the
doing
Flyers
that,
are going to win.
Oh my God! I know. Just bring me a box of Kleenexes. It's the Waterworks are coming. Why is that, Pete?
Because
put your psychologist.
No, I absolutely. I mean, look, sound music transports you to a different time in your life. I'll just pull one out of the air. I can hear the stupid group Ace of Base, right? That stupid song. I saw the sign. Right? I can hear that song, and I can think about me and my buddy Greg in a 2-door Mitsubishi Eclipse with girls we just met, trying to go to the next bar. There was no Uber, there were no taxis. We're in Hilton Head, and I'm bent over. I'm 6 foot, Greg's 5'11", and there's no back seat, so we're like basically cargo in their trunk as they drive us from the Crazy Crab to the Salty Dog or whatever in Hilton Head. Now, right. Billy, I just went on a good minute rant about a stupid song I saw to sign, right?
You just remember.
Now, how are you not going to remember like Harry Callis, the Phillies, or Gene Hart with the Flyers, or any of those iconic moments? Of course you're going to remember that stuff.
So, Carlin, what? Not just a film, like not just a movie, like like a sports moment, or is there something like when you hear Al Michaels going, "Do you believe in miracles?" Yes. I mean that right there is enough to get me Waterworks. Get the Waterworks going.
That one. I was at Dr. J's farewell.
Oh yeah,
game when he wasn't. He was in coat and tie, and he was saying goodbye to everybody for the last time. That was sad to me. That was sad.
Now, Pete. Billy Werndl at the end of the interview said, I said, enjoy the NBA games, and he says he's not watching.
Yeah, 192 to 186 or something like that.
Take the over.
Real quick.
Take the over.
Real quick. The NFL Pro Bowl is a joke.
Yep.
The NBA All-Star game is a joke.
Yep.
The only one that really you get any little bit of competition would be Major League Baseball.
That's correct, because it's so hard to hit.
Hockey's a joke. They don't even play hockey. They play 3-on-3.
You still got to hit the ball, and you still got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and a pitcher doesn't want to look bad, so it's not like he's throwing him.
He doesn't want to give up his competitive juices are flowing. He don't want to give up a home run.
By the way, that they're going to use that new rule in the NBA All-Star game tonight?
What is it?
I mean, they've used it before, but they've talked the ELOM ending. It's going to be an untimed fourth quarter.
Right.
This is the third straight year that they're using
I like that.
rule.
That was a good wrinkle. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, because it actually makes the end of the game competitive when nobody would really care. The ELOM ending, if you don't know what it is they try to hit a target score. They take the teams, whoever's leading after 3, they take that cumulative score, and then they're going to add 24 points. Now, why would it be 24, not 23 or 25, guys? Because the 24 is the nod to Kobe Bryant. That's their little tip of the cap to Kobe. So they're going to have an ELOM ending.
Will we ever see Pete Rose running Ray Fosse over in an All-Star game? Will we ever see
kind of competition?
Yeah.
Hell no. Absolutely not.
And that's a shame, right?
No,
is that a shame?
No. Absolutely not. Is that going to happen again?
So,
wow. I didn't realize this. That makes sense. This is the first All-Star game for Kevin Harlan, and I love Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, he's got a great voice.
Marv Albert retired. Hey, the man is drunk. He's on the field. I mean, if you've never seen that, Mike Carlin, Google Kevin Harlan. Drunk fan runs on field. Kevin Harlan was doing like Monday Night Football on like Westwood 1 or whatever. And a guy ran out onto the field and Harlan just called it.
He called
like he would call like Barry Sanders or like, a running back like Eckler or something running for a touchdown. He just smoothly called the guy.
And there was a guy that ran onto the field during the Super Bowl. You didn't see it this year.
No,
but it did pop up on social. It popped up on Twitter and everything. And there were 2 Rams players that looked like they were going to go after him.
Yeah,
and
that's
thought
funny.
thought better of it.
It's amazing we're talking.
And they're lucky they didn't, because if they would have tackled him, he would have said he
It's crazy that we're talking about stuff like this, because literally just last month when I was with my son Reed, and we were talking about crazy stuff in sports, and somehow I remember, and this is like probably 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember there was a time where a guy was known for dressing up in uniform and sneaking into the team when they came out of the tunnel, and he would try to do the warm-ups?
Oh, basketball. Yes. Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
I remember Morgana and John 316.
But he's talking about like it. I saw it in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like more.
This guy would get on the court.
Yeah.
And he'd dress up in like a uniform of.
You can pull it up on YouTube. And my son couldn't believe it. And they showed it one game. He did it like at the Nets game.
Yeah.
And
he just sort of casually moved from stands into into
into
the layup line.
12 guys would run out, and he would sneak in. And then you see the team
kind of look at him like,
who the hell are you? You see the players like, what's this guy? And they're like laughing.
Right. And then they'd try to get a hold of, like, they'd let him get a couple shots up and stuff. But Billy, the players would then try to turn to security and say, like, this guy doesn't belong here. And security was like, what are you talking about?
He had everything on.
You don't need an ID if you got the uni on, right?
It was classic.
Oh,
you got to pull it up and
I got to
watch
pull that up.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Morgana running on the field. She became a celebrity.
This guy did it more than once.
How about that?
He would go around and around, and he had the whole uniform.
You guys, I forget, but John 316. What you see that everywhere?
The origin of the guy, the guy that used to hold the signs up, or what
yeah.
does it mean? You want to know?
Both. Give me both.
All right. What it means, and I'll just stop after a few sentences, is for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. It's basically talking about how Jesus sacrificed himself for the greater good.
Well,
okay?
I know it's a biblical
That's
thing,
the
but
quote.
why does that quote? I mean, why is it? I mean, you used to see it everywhere.
Because they want it to be everywhere. It's just a message that they're sending out.
And this guy,
I thought it had something to do with sports, like a biblical thing that had something to do with sports.
Right.
It's an advertising thing.
Right,
almost.
right, okay.
That's why they're always right behind the goalpost so you see it, or, yeah.
It's always behind the net, behind the
where you can
basket.
see it for marketing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is
How did you read that? Did you read that off the top of your head? That 316?
I can do that by memory. I mean, I went to church for 23 or 25
straight
straight years.
Pete, were you an altar boy?
No, I wasn't Catholic. I was Presbyterian.
That's what I am.
It's great. It's a
I
great
grew up
religion.
Catholic.
You go when you want to go. You don't go when you don't want to go, and you don't have any guilt.
You're Catholic, right?
I'm Catholic.
I can tell that Irish. All right. You know what? The second hour of the locker room was brought to you by
Rollins Stewart, who wore a rainbow-colored wig and danced with a John 316 sign behind the goalpost. There's a guy. His name was Rockin' Rollin' and Rainbow Man, and he
always had the hair
on television.
Right, the color
well into
hair.
the 80s. He's credited with popularizing John 316, and I think, Billy, just before you get into your reads, I think there's an ESPN 30 for 30 about this guy.
Is that right?
Okay.
Very interesting.
I will find that for you. Now, continue with what you were going to say. Second out of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's always a great day in Great Bay.
Make Great Bay Country Club your club.
I'm sticking with the original. I'm OG,
where it's not
man.
just golf, it's fun. Great Bay is a private club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. Kid player on their 18-hole championship golf course where Pete beat my butt.
That is true.
Enjoy fine dining experience, lively atmosphere in the pub. There's always a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season that appeal to everyone. For more information on how to become a member or book a wedding, good in there. They got great venue for weddings. Go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. When you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for us. Hey, my winter watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming and the daunting task of driving down the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road, stuck in a snowstorm? Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and service improvements. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869. Or send Debbie an email, debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room with Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, Billy Schwein right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
The 2022 NBA All-Star Game.
Durant for three in the lead. He's
Just dogs, but smaller, so what? But even those who aren't easily moved.
Look, your long-lost brother's been found.
Oh, hi, Mike. Can be moved by us. Yeah, we're that good.
Use Clark's Moving and Storage in Rio Grande for your next local or long-distance move. Visit Clark's Moving and Storage online at clarksmoving.net.
All right, at the bottom of the hour, Mike and Pete, we're going to be talking with a local kid who I watched grow up. He's now playing goalie for the Northeastern Huskies, and he just played in the Beanpot. Very proud of him, and I'm telling you, man, it's cool when you get to see somebody grow up and then do well. Pete playing hockey.
Yes,
it's so much fun, man.
190 pounds, 6'1".
Yeah, he's a big kid.
He's
now.
built like a goalie.
You know, he delivers for Giuseppe. He works at Randazzo's.
Oh, you're pulling back the curtain now.
Yeah,
this
man.
is how we know.
Yeah.
And you got him the job?
No.
Do you know why he wears number 33?
No, I do not.
Good. That makes two of us. That's one. Okay,
we
wait.
got to
ask that question.
Down. Number 33. I wonder if it's because of Brian Boucher.
All right, I want to ask you guys, Billy Werndl, we talked about the state of Philadelphia sports teams. We talked a little bit about the Eagles. And they made the playoffs, but they did get embarrassed. I mean, he said that Brady could have hung 60 on them if he wanted. Their defense is that bad. So I ask you, Mike Carlin, 3 picks in the first round. do you bolster the defense up? We've got a couple of holes. I mean, Steve Nelson, I don't know if he's going to be back. He's under a one-year deal. Singleton, I can't stand him, and he's a restricted free agent. They got some holes. Slay's 32, Bill said.
Right.
So what do? They're not 2 players away from being a Super Bowl team.
They're not. And
it's not a rebuild per se.
It's definitely not a rebuild, but they're also not in my category. They're not in the position where all this talk about Russell Williams coming.
Right. I don't think so either.
And it was like, for give him 2 number ones and this, because I was thinking about it, and even though Howie loves him, supposedly wanted him years ago, even if he came to the team, all right, is he going to make him better? He's going to make him better. But the goal was to get to the championship game.
To win the
so
Super Bowl.
So what are you going to go maybe a little further than they did this year? And then 2-3 years down the road, we're right back to where we start. We're not.
I agree. And Pete, the Dallas Cowboys, their last 3 years they've gone defense.
Yeah. Look, in a fantasy world, I'd love to see them go defense. We're talking about an organization that I've followed since 1975. Okay. They don't draft linebackers in the first round. They don't go defense. And to Mike's point, with the quarterback situation being what it is, you don't know what they're going to do. What I know for sure, here's my 3 things I think they need to do in the offseason. Number 1, get youthful within the offensive line. All right.
He's coming back.
He thinks he's coming back. He hasn't officially said he's coming back, right? But that still doesn't mean that, the Lane Johnson isn't getting older. Right. Kelsey isn't getting older. Like, keep doing what they're doing. Jordan Mailata is an unbelievable story. Nate Herbig, Landon Dickerson, that's youthful. Get one of those picks to get youthful on the offensive line. Number 2, get a veteran, experienced wide receiver. Get somebody out there that can help out Devontae Smith. You essentially had Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and nobody else. I mean, yes, you had some guys that stepped up and made plays and whatnot, but get a pro, get a winner, get somebody that's a proven commodity out there. And then, of course, like Mike said, and this is the biggest thing out there, and this will answer how they use these picks. Get yourself right at quarterback and figure out what you're going to do. I mean, there's a lot of people that say, Billy, well, they endorsed Jalen Hurts. Yeah. You ever hear the kiss of death?
I know.
Yeah, that's
when you have nothing else to do, you have to endorse it.
Right. What else can you do?
I mean, they could have hedged their words.
Remember, they didn't even name him the starting quarterback up until the very last minute last year.
I know, but they could have hedged their words and said, like, we're going to evaluate. They didn't do any of that. They flat out said Carson Wentz, geez. Jalen Hurts is our guy.
What's the story with him?
Yeah, man.
He's done there.
He's done.
Aren't you laughing? Aren't you laughing right now?
All
you Wentz supporters?
Guess
what happened to him?
Did you hear what they're talking about lately?
Well, no.
We're going to see him in our division.
With the Giants?
Washington.
What, Pete? What happened? What happened to Carson Wentz?
Maybe he wasn't that good to begin with. And he certainly, I have to tell you guys.
Yeah, but how can you how can you play? Remember, in that 2017 season, he was playing like an MVP up until the Rams.
All the pieces in place to help him succeed. He was new to the league, so he actually listened to what his coaches told him. He had John DeFilippo, and he had Frank Reich, and he had Doug Peterson. He had not 1, not 2, but 3 former quarterbacks whispering in his ear, telling him how he could be a better quarterback and leading him to that success. Then, all of a sudden, as those pieces went away, Carson Wentz stopped listening to Doug Peterson. Frank Reich moved on to Indianapolis. I'm not proclaiming John DeFilippo to be some hero quarterback guy, but another example of that was the guy that was out in with the Rams, right? Jared Goff, right?
Goff.
So Jared Goff was a guy that everybody thought was lighting the world on fire. But guess what? Come to find out that Sean McVay's whispering the plays in his ear. The minute Jared Goff, now Detroit stinks, okay?
Right.
But the minute Jared Goff leaves a situation where he had both talent and a quarterback whisperer, all of a sudden Jared Goff becomes human. You know what I mean? So, you're asking me what happened to Wentz.
How about this?
He lost his
mojo
support.
He lost. You know what? I wonder if the combination of injuries and the big financial.
That's what I was going to say. Remember, he didn't play the whole preseason.
Right.
He was hurt. And I'm starting to think, and I was never for this, I'm starting to think, especially at that position, the quarterback, you need a full preseason to really feel comfortable. And the team's got to feel comfortable with you. How are they going to feel comfortable with you when you're not even on the field? The first game, they didn't even know he was going to play.
That play late in the season. That play late in the season, right, where they lost to the Jaguars when they lost 26-11. That was as classic Wentz bleh,
Yeah.
you know, excuse me. I mean, the guy's numbers in a game where they needed the game, absolutely. He was 17 for 29 for $185.
That's horrible.
He only
Against the
threw one
Jags.
against the Jaguars. And the Jaguars,
You win, you're in.
you know, the headline here, as I look back at this article on ESPN, says Jaguars clown Colts 26-11, prevent Indy from making playoffs.
Killer.
How much was it the Jaguars, and how much was it the Jaguars quarterback who couldn't get out of his own way?
Yeah.
He coughed up the ball there.
Well, I'm a proponent of building the defense. I think, like Billy Werndl said, he said that defense stinks.
Yeah.
And the games that they won down the stretch were against teams with no quarterbacks, third JV quarterbacks.
I went for the wrong guy. I said Reed Sinet. I meant to go for Garrett Gilbert.
Garrett Gilbert. Matter of fact, did Mike Gill have him on?
He had Garrett Gilbert on, and it was a wonderful interview. I love when he discovers nice guests under the rocks of who's out there.
So you have 3 number 1. So a lot of talk is you use 2 of them on what you have to use them for,
right?
And then trade the one for next year because next year's class is supposed to be a lot better than this year's
with
class.
quarterbacks.
Yeah.
All right, and then of course we'll talk about the NBA All-Star game here at the end. But coming up next, you guys. This is such a great story. We're going to be talking with TJ Semptimphelter. He's now the starting goalie for the Northeastern Huskies, and it's a great story. And we're going to have him next. The second hour of the Locker Room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, experience lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. When you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for us. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli mid-size sedan or the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the mainline, at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. When we return, we'll talk with TJ Semptimphelter. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin on 97.3 ESPN.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Coming up.
Free delivery applies to orders of $396 or more.
Creamy nut butter makes it delightfully sweet. Roasted nuts make it perfectly salty. Get 2 great tastes in one delicious bar. Enjoy a Nature Valley sweet and salty nut bar today.
All right, guys, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin. Now, guys, like I told you, I get emotional, and I might even get emotional here because I watched this young fella grow up on the beach from 3-4 years old.
It's a big deal.
And for him to I'm looking at the picture. I took a picture of the broadcast of the Beanpot, and it's a picture of TJ with his stats. It says TJ Septenfelter and this season, his stats, and then the picture of the team around him. I was like, dude, he's big time. This is big time college hockey.
That's right.
And he played in the Beanpot.
Yeah. Well,
which is a very
big deal in Boston, and anywhere up in the Northeast corner.
So let's go to the Maserati.
Good thing he goes to Northeastern since he's in the right corner.
Yes. All right, let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome into the locker room the goaltender for the Northeastern Huskies, TJ Septenfelter. What's up, TJ?
Hello, Bill. Thank you for having me on.
I think I'm going to get a little emotional here.
It's okay.
The fact that that I'm looking at your picture, and it's just, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
TJ, what was it like playing in front of 18,000 people at the TJ Garden or the TV Garden?
It was unbelievable just playing in that atmosphere. There's something to be said about how much support those games get from the Boston community. It was a lot of fun, and there's really nothing like it for any college experience. I have to think that it's one of the best games to be a part of as a college athlete, and to be able to experience that and obviously play in the game my freshman year, it was an unbelievable experience. And then,
I've been up to Boston during the Beanpot when I played hockey for U.S. Airways, and we went up to play U.S. Airways Boston. The one thing I took away from it that weekend that we played up there, we played at the Mike Eruzione rink that's there at Winthrop, right, not too far from Logan International. But TJ, every single house had a flag representing one of the Boston College, Boston University,
Huge.
Northeastern. I mean, it is a big deal in Boston. I don't think people down here realize the magnitude of that event.
Yeah, it's definitely huge up here. It's been funny after too. Just so many students, like Northeastern kids, have come up to me, and there's so much support from the fan base. It's unbelievable, and to kind of feel that support behind you, especially on the ice, you hear the crowd chanting. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced before, and I'm grateful that I was able to get in and make the most of that opportunity.
So you got the opportunity because you're the starting goalie. Was he was playing for USA, right? In the Olympics.
He's playing for Team Canada.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Team Canada. All right. So you're playing. You won the Eberle Award, which is the best save percentage in the tournament. You've got 8 games under your belt. You got a 2.05 goals against. You're
Flyers could use them.
I was going to say, man.
Come on.
One step at a time.
Come on.
TJ, you signing any autographs?
Yeah. After some of the games, it's been unbelievable. Just the kids that come up, and I feel like it's obviously really inspiring for some kids. And it's just been awesome how I've gotten so much support. Like there was a kid that came up to me after the game just this weekend and asked me to sign a puck for him. And it's moments,
that's great.
It's moments like that make you really just appreciate everything. It puts everything into perspective, and it was awesome.
Because it's a lot of hard work, TJ. I mean, to get to where you are, think about all the parties.
All the times your mom and dad had to leave the beach in the summer to take you all over Buxtehude to try to, because you want to play you want to play hockey. Yeah. I mean, it's dedication right there, Mike.
That's what I mean. When you get to this level, TJ had to miss out on a lot of things. But
except for delivering pizza at Randazzo's.
Yeah. Definitely give Werndell.
But that's good. But my point is, TJ, you should be extreme, and I'm sure your parents are extremely proud of yourself too, because you just don't get to the level that you're at by just falling into it kind of thing. You got to put the time, you got to put the work in, and you did it, and it's paying off. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. all about chipping away. You never really know what's in store for your future, but I think that was a big part of kind of what led to my success here. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. There were rumors going around about the potential for Dev to get an amazing opportunity and represent his country, and up until that point, nobody had really said anything, and I think that was just exactly what you're saying. It's all that hard work and that goes into it.
Got two things for you, TJ. One, because you were talking about Dev, that makes me think of who the coach was for the men's team, and it was David Quinn, the former Rangers coach, but more importantly to you guys up there, the former BU coach who was known in the Boston area, so it makes sense that he'd be like, gee, where am I going to find my talent from? Hello, Dev, pluck, you're on the Olympic team, so that makes sense to me, TJ. The second thing, I guess, as you were talking there is you're signing autographs. You're 19 years old, right? You're from Marlton, New Jersey, right? Billy knows you from the Ocean City Beach.
25th Street Beach.
Okay, so he knows you locally, but we were telling Carlin, Mike, who's with us in the studio, is more of a basketball guy than maybe a hockey guy at times. And we were explaining to him that it's very rare, like in hockey, you tend to play for your high school program or whatever your prep school is. And then sometimes there might be a USHL in your future. There might be an OHL in your future. Tell us about your path.
Yeah, so I remember at the end of my senior year, which is kind of when you obviously have to make a decision. Some guys will end up leaving high school early, but I remember just telling my college counselor, like, listen, I'm going to play juniors. You don't have to worry about me as far as applying to schools go. But I always knew that I wanted to play hockey in college, and obviously it's been a dream of mine ever since I was a kid to play at the Division I level, and even further. And I think juniors was that opportunity for me to really showcase and show people that I can play. And then obviously coming here to Northeastern and making the most of the opportunities that I've had here. I had a great experience with the Junior Bruins and the NCDC. It was a bit of a tricky year, obviously, with COVID. So I remember sitting down with my advisor, my family, my goalie coach, and we were trying to figure out what would be the best fit for me for juniors. Because obviously, for a family that I come from a big football family, so for a family that didn't really know much about hockey, my mom couldn't fathom the fact that I wasn't going to college.
Your mom's a teacher; she wants you in school.
Yeah,
exactly. So there's definitely a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, I think we made the best decision, and obviously I was very fortunate to fall into the hands of Mike Anderson and the great staff over at the Junior Bruins who took great care of me. So.
Yeah, that's a pretty good thing right there. I mean, it sort of just keeps you right in that circle. Boston Junior Bruins, like you said, NCDC, and then now Northeastern, and the goalie goes. So then you get your shot, and of course you stand up and show that you're worthy of that shot. But of course, I could ask you hockey questions till you're blue in the face. What I really want to know is what a Jersey guy feels like when he's got to ride the T or he's got to go up there. I mean, what? There's no Wawas in Boston. What the hell are you doing up there?
Pete, you know what he's got up there though?
What?
TJ, you'll know what I'm talking about. He's got the North End.
Oh, the North End.
North End. We praise about South Philly restaurants. North End blows it away.
Yeah, the North End is big time. There's a lot of really nice restaurants up here, and it's been awesome. A lot of the older guys on the team have been nice enough to kind of take me under their wing and show me some of the nicer restaurants around here. So it's been great.
We're talking with TJ Semptimphelter. He's the starting goalie for the Northeastern Huskies. They just finished the Beanpot. Now you got about 5 games left. You guys are ranked like 13th, I believe, right? Is that accurate?
Yeah, right now we're ranked 13th in the country, so we're hoping to continue to keep that up and make a push for the final tournament at the end of the year.
Now, TJ, when the starting goalie comes back, what's going to happen there? I mean, is he going to? Are you going to play? I mean, you're playing. You just won the Everly Award for Christmas sakes. You know what I mean? What are they going to do? And that's a good problem to have for the coach, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just all about taking it one step at a time. Whenever they call my number, I'm going to be ready. And I think when I was in, I showed them that I can play, and so obviously it's totally their decision. And I'll just continue to compete and be ready. And I think at the end of the day, that's really all you can do. So,
hey TJ, I remember I watched that whole game against BC, and the one picture frame that stood out. There was BC has that real big kid that was he was standing in your crease looking down at you.
Yeah.
Right, that was pretty funny. And then I don't know how that goal. It was a 2-on-1 that you gave. I don't know how he scored that goal because he was when that puck came across. He was right. He was right there. I don't even know how he got that puck over your pad.
Yeah. The kid made a nice play. There's a lot of really highly skilled players, obviously, and when you give them time and space, they're obviously able to make plays. But yeah, that was a big win last night against BC. Obviously, I thought we responded really well as a team, and the veteran defensemen that I have in front of me are unbelievable. Those guys are competing their asses off every night. So,
TJ, you mentioned the schedule left, and that just triggered this question for me. And of course, in college, Mike Carlin, hockey plays weekend schedules. It's always like a Friday night, Saturday night pair. So there's 2 with UConn, 1 with Vermont, and 2 with Merrimack, and that makes me think, TJ, to ask you about. My God, you're not just playing Division I college hockey. You're basically playing in the Metro Division of the NHL. You're playing the damn hardest division. Who's the weak team? Sorry, Vermont, but who's the weak team that's out there? UMass Lowell, UMass, UConn, Merrimack, Northeastern, BU, Providence, New Hampshire, Boston College, Maine. That's our guy, Matt Thomas, that used to coach the Atlantic City Boardwalk Bullies back in the day. He played at Maine and then Vermont. Come on there, TJ. Where's the weak team in your league?
Yeah, obviously we joke about that a lot. Obviously, Hockey East is a very, very strong division, and I don't think any game really in Division I you can show up and expect to win. But especially in Hockey East, you show up every game and you know you're gonna have a tough opponent across from you. But I think that helps all of us as players develop. It's just that mentality. Like, you have to go into every single game and compete, and you're gonna have to earn it. And I think it makes the guys better, and it definitely prepares us for the hardware at the end of the season when games are serious and guys really want to compete against us. So.
Well, TJ, I got to tell you, I know your mom and dad, Joe and Denise, they are great people.
Don't forget to ask him why he wears 33.
Oh, yeah. Why do you wear 33?
Yeah, so I got to give a shout out to my dad, obviously, and definitely Bryant Boucher. Ever since a kid, I've been watching Brian Boucher, and I was fortunate.
I predicted that. I called that. I said maybe it's because of Boucher. Yep. All right, keep going, TJ. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So when I was at Lawrenceville, I wore 33. Before I'd worn 35. My dad wore 35. But yeah, at Lawrenceville, I wore 33, and that was kind of the only number they had. And I really enjoyed that. Did well at Lawrenceville, and it was awesome to be able to wear Boucher's number. Obviously, he's been so important in my career and my development as a player. So it's cool to again wear it here at Northeastern, still in the red and black. Just a little bit of a different scenery, but yeah, I also have a little design on the back of my helmet. It's a orange and black 33.
Oh, cool.
Boucher as well. And everything he's done for me is just unbelievable. He's been awesome, and he's been a huge part in my development as a player, and not only as a player, but as a young kid, young adult. So he's an awesome guy.
TJ, I know your mom, Denise, your dad, Joe, extremely proud of you. And so are we. I know Giuseppe Randazzo, I spoke with him about you. He was super excited. I think he watched a little bit of the game, and just we're all pulling for you, TJ, and continued success. And we'll see you on the beach in Ocean City this summer. We're going to follow your progress. Congratulations and work hard, man.
Yes, thank you for having me on here today. It was a lot of fun. And I got a text from Mrs. Randazzo. It was awesome to hear from them. Obviously, the Randazzos are a great family. Yeah, they are. But the best.
All right, TJ. Listen, man, we got to run. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a good one, Billy.
There he is, TJ Septenfelter on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports. I get a little emotional. I'm like, your mic's not on, but there you go.
He's a team player.
Yeah, but
all he talked about was about the team.
That's right. Team. But he's such a good kid. He is a good kid. And Joe and Denise did an excellent job raising him.
I mean, I'm trying to wrap up with a guest, and you're yelling at him that his mic's not on. I'm trying to do two things at once over here. Come on.
That's why you get paid.
Yeah, thank you. Not enough.
I want
to raise.
It's. I know the people that know me and know TJ. are feeling, exceptionally.
He doesn't come off like a freshman.
No,
he doesn't come off like a freshman.
I watched him grow up since like 3 years old.
It was never me. It was a team all the time. Like when you asked about the other goalie coming back, right away it was like whatever the team needs, whatever they call my number.
I think he's a sophomore, so it's like, all right. The second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always, always a great day at Great Bay. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunick, where you wear their private business network they call the Legacy Club. Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey to attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give him a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. When we return, we'll wrap it up. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
Today on Compass Media Network's coverage of NCAA basketball.
Online or contacting your Dell Technologies advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. Again, the number to call is 877-ASK-DELL.
Cold weather got you down? Forget the snow boots and pack your swimsuit. Atlantic City International Airport offers nonstop flights to Cancun. What are you waiting for? Book your flight today by visiting spirit.com.
There's your police.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Saw you so many times today, and I guess it's all true what your girlfriend say.
Remember, people are driving on the road.
Yeah, they're driving off into the ditch right now.
Come on.
Oh my God.
Dude, I was like, I'm so happy for TJ, man. What a great story. And you know what, Pete? I mean, he was standing on his head a couple of games that I saw. Who knows what's in his future, man? I know it's hard to get to the next level, but
he's in the right place.
He's going the right place.
He's in a D1 program with
a lot of
great
eyes
players in front of him in the greatest college hockey league I think out there. Yeah. To be honest with you, Hockey East is one of the powerhouses.
All right, Pete, you got a couple text messages you want to read?
I have a text message that this gentleman's been very patient to wait for us. That's Joey D, a long-time loyal listener.
Yes.
He said, "Good morning, gentlemen. You guys might be too young." Who are you calling young? But do you recall when the NBA would have double headers? The first game that I went to was the Suns versus the Knicks and the Sixers versus the Bulls at the Spectrum. Also, last week it was mentioned the Philly now has two beards, Harding and Kelsey. Do you guys remember one of the original beards? That's Cowboy Bill Flett.
Oh yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
Joey D going way back.
He hit them all, man. If that was the 3-point contest, Joey D just emptied the rack. You know what I mean? He just hit every ball in the rack, including the money ball.
Now I don't remember the double headers.
Me either.
Do you,
I'm
Carlin?
thinking no.
Yeah, I don't remember a double header. I do remember, and I tell people this now, especially because of like the halftime show and stuff, that my dad, he had like a 10-game plan at the Spectrum. And one time afterwards, there was going to be a free concert. And I begged him to stay for the concert.
I've been one of them.
And he wouldn't stay. He was like, "I don't want to stay for this." And I said, "Dad, it's free." And that was like the sticking point. He's like,
Right.
"Well, free. All right." And it was this young artist. You might have heard of him. His name is LL Cool J.
Oh, get out.
He was like so new that it was like he was doing free concerts after the Sixers game. Billy or Mike Carlin, to either of you, do you know what LL Cool J stands for?
No, I do not.
No.
Ladies love Cool James. I mean, come on, guys. What's going on with you?
The only double headers I remember that were big time. No, I can remember going to the Palestra and seeing like a big 5 double header.
Absolutely.
You guys are ready for this? You guys are going to kill me.
And on the StreamYard then, so Christine wanted to say that she was looking forward to your spot. Is she related to you? She's got a Schweiman there.
It's my sister.
Your actual sister?
Yeah.
Oh, well, all right, then. That's, well, no, I mean,
We can read it.
No disrespect, Christine, but yeah, she said she was looking forward to the spot on TJ.
Yeah.
And then,
Because she sits on the beach with TJ as well.
Well, then she also said, "You're the biggest crier ever." What a sap. And then she said his brother isn't any better. Now, unrelated to the Schwein family, Mike Kehoe wrote in and said, "Bill W. interview was great." And I don't know Mike Kehoe. Do you?
Yeah, I do know Mike Kehoe.
Okay. I wrote back to him and said, "I'm glad you liked it. Thanks, Mike." Any relation to Art Kehoe or Cheryl Kehoe?
No, I don't believe so.
And I got no response.
Yes.
And Maria. Okay, these are all people that
because I can't see it on my side.
I know. I'm trying to pay you off here. Maria Iamori said, "Enjoyed the interview with Bill. Great job."
Okay.
All right, there you go. My producing stuff is done for now. Now you can ask me who the MVP is going to be because I know that's what.
So Team Durant has Joel Embiid, John Morant, Jason Tatum, Andrew Wiggins, and Trae Young versus LeBron James, Giannis, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, and
the Joker.
Did you say James? LeBron James?
Yeah,
he's the captain. Here's what I know. Typical Billy, he just gives you the starting 5 of
we
both
don't
of
have time.
them.
It's 54.
There's
55.
8 other players on the team.
The guys that come off the bench,
they're going to be the ones that are going to be the MVP.
Right, okay.
So you want to know who my pick for MVP is? And I don't even like this family or their sneakers. LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball will be the MVP.
I think Devin Booker will be.
Okay. You ready?
Carlin?
LeBron James.
Who?
It's coming home.
Oh, yeah, it's in Cleveland.
LeBron.
He's going to be named the MVP just because he wants to come back and play with Bronny.
And if the other team wins, we could have Joel.
Oh, that'd be cool.
How fast are those 2 hours?
And then Joel Embiid would have his little baby son up there with him and the trophy, and he'd be juggling the trophy and his son.
I just want to tell you that I love Cleveland.
I want to thank Billy Werndell for being a part of the show today. Of course, TJ Semptimphelter. Pete Thompson, as always, you do a great job hitting the buttons.
Thank you.
Mike Carlin, your time in the studio today. Thanks for making the locker room part of your Sunday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner. We got the NBA All-Star Game tonight. And then, of course, you got the Sports Bash with Mike Gill Monday through Friday right here on 97.3 ESPN. Have a great weekend, rest of your weekend, everybody. And I'll see you next Saturday right here in the locker room with Billy Schwein on 97.3 ESPN.
We get it. You're not going to work just anywhere. You're smart, you're ambitious, and you want to help others. You want a place where you can thrive, feel